take a look at some ways to add content to a lesson or a module that you've created. So let's go back into our lessons, and remember I showed you how to make a lesson or a module previously. So you've created this week 3 class or lesson or topical module, which will probably be more the case for online classes. And we go in here and we see that we just have a header that I've inserted and we have an assignment that I've inserted. Now, we click on Design, and we're going to look at some different ways to add content, because typically below your assignment, you're going to want to put information in, or you may want to put another assignment in, or a discussion. But remember, if you look under the discussion comments, I will tell you a little secret. If you add a discussion this way, you can create a discussion right here, but this discussion will not be graded, and it will not be connected to an actual assignment. It will be a standalone thing. So what you want to do is create all of your discussions. If you want them to be graded, create all of your discussions in the assignments, and then when you go to add another assignment, you click on assignment. You'll select the discussion here. Here I have discussion board 3. You'll select the discussion there. You'll require the students to do the assignment, and you'll bring it in that way. That's the graded assignment. Why it says no requirements, I don't know. That's a new thing. That there's some kind of requirement. It may be a rubric. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out with Populi why all of a sudden this is showing up. This is a new thing. So don't sweat it at this point when you see that on your discussions if you build one. So let's talk a little bit about different kinds of content that you might add. First of all, you can add a file. So you click Add File, and you can drag a file from from somewhere, or you can copy and paste a file. You can go into and you can hit Choose. Then you can go into your that's from my dissertation. I don't want to bring any of those files in. You could go into your on your computer, and you can grab a file and you can import it, and you can import it this way. So we'll go back to the old Calvinism, or Can I Trust the Bible? Okay, double click it, Word doc, it's zipped right in. There it is. Now, hide this file from students, yes or no? If you don't want the students to see it, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, you can hide it from them, but I wouldn't. Show an embedded preview or a media player if applicable. Well, here's the deal. You can show an embedded view of it. We'll click yes, and I'll show you what that looks like. Then we'll change it, and I'll show you what that looks like. Require the students to view or download this. I typically put yes. I'll hit save. All right. And why is there not a preview? Oh, it's not. It's going to be right here. When we open this up, you'll see it's got the document open, and so you can view the document fully in line. It's really bulky and cumbersome for the students if you do that. And it makes it very difficult visually to understand, to see what's going on the page. So what I tell professors is, do not show an embedded view. Here's the difference. When you go in, you'll just see the link to this, and then you can click on it and it'll open it for you, and you can do it that way. Okay, so that's how I would suggest you add a document to your lesson. Now, another way to do this is, or another thing that you can do is that you can add a link. Okay, and so there's your title and there's your URL. Require students to click it yes or no. So let's go into info, and let's say that I have an assignment here when the perfect comes. Let's look at that link real quick. So we click the edit link button. It shows me the link. I'm going to highlight that. Okay. Copy that. Go back out. So the link is there. Go back into my lessons. Go back to week 3. And go back to design. And I want to add that link. So I click link. And I click URL. I'm going to paste that. And then I'm going to put when the perfect comes. And I'm going to say yes, they have to click it, and I'm going to save it. Okay, so now you have, again, you have a link right there. When you go into the regular page, you're going to see just a link. Now there's another way to do this. It's kind of cool. So let's go back out and let's look at study questions 3. I'm going to add content below because I want to have some information about the assignment. So I'm going to say this is your instruction block. Here is your video link. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to click insert link. I'm going to right click that URL, it's still in my memory, and I'm going to say when the perfect comes. And I'm going to hit OK. I usually hit these one more time with a bold text because I like them to really stand out. And then I will also oftentimes, in parentheses afterwards, I'll put the length of the video in parentheses for the students so they know how long they're going to invest in that video. Okay, and it also gives them a visual cue that there's a video there. So now it looks like this. See, here is your video link underneath this assignment. Here's your video link, and I can click on it, and it takes me right to the assignment. So it's a little tidier way, or it's a little tidier way to do to put a link in. It's another way to do it for you. Now sometimes you're going to want to put a lot more information into your class or into your instructions than maybe you have access to or you know how to do properly. So I've done a couple of things for you, and you should be able to access them in this model course. If you go into any lesson, and let's say you click on week 2, and you notice, wow, he uses that red text and he uses highlighting. Those things are not options that are available to you if you hadn't noticed in the content building portion, but you can program them in, kind of a backdoor way to do it. So I'm going to show you a cheater way. It's not really a cheater way, but an easy way for you to get that information. If you just go like this, highlight it and copy and paste it, it's going to all be black when you get it over to your page. Okay, here's what I want you to do. You're going to go in here, click on source code, and you can see how I built this. I programmed the color. It only accepts a couple of colors for some reason. Red is one of them. Most other colors, if you do anything other than red, black, or highlighting, it's going to revert it back to black when you go back to your main page. So don't waste your time learning HTML and trying to do a bunch of stuff. Just copy my stuff here. When you have the INS, that's your yellow highlighting right there. Notice in HTML, it just makes a statement before, and then it makes a statement right after, and that's how you do it. All right, so you copy that, hit cancel. Don't hit OK or anything else because you don't want to accidentally erase it. Hit cancel here. Now we're going to go back to lesson 2, or lesson 3, excuse me. And I want to alter that content. So I didn't like that content I put in, so I'm going to go back into design, and I'm going to edit my content. So I hit the little pen that opens it up, and I'm going to hit source code. And it already has source code from this guy right here. So I'm going to go like this, highlight it, right click, and I'm going to paste my other source code in there. Hit OK. And look, everything I had appears. And this is highlighted in yellow. That's why it's underlined here, but it's highlighted in yellow. Just take it by faith. So let's say I can change this text. These are your instructions. I can change this. You may fly the friendly skies. Boy, fat fingers. Okay, I've got new text in there. I could even drop off the beginning of this. I might just drop that off. We're changing it. I still have the underline, so I know it's still highlighted. Maybe I want to keep this red text at the top. But I don't want it to say by Friday at midnight, so I'm going to say, pay attention to this assignment. Notice I didn't drop off the end colors at first, because if they do, the red will disappear. Now I can drop that off. I've rewritten this. I've changed it a little bit, and let's see what it looks like. We'll go out here, and we'll look at it. Looky there. I have my own new text, but I kept the red. I have my own new text, but I kept the highlighting. But again, those are not options that are available to you just in the regular editor up here. There's no option up here for red text. There's only bold, italics, underlined, lined through, and then there's font size. I usually just let it auto-populate the font. That way it auto-adjusts it wherever it goes. You can put in a bullet list next to things, so I could change this to bullets, or I could go back to numbers. And then you can also move things back and forth, move the whole thing or parts of it. Okay. And then I can also, like we talked about, I can link things, make things superscript, or I can make them subscript. There's lots of cool things I can do, but there's no red and there's no highlighting option in this. So that's how I get those into mine, is by simply just copying and pasting that HTML and then modifying it afterwards. So hopefully that shows you how to add content. Let me add one more thing to this. If you're going to add an assignment, we did that before. Again, you click on assignment, and then you can click this right here. It gives you all of your assignments that are available to select from. Okay? And then you can click on whether you want it to be required or not. Typically, you'll want to put content right below that with some instructions for that assignment. And we won't put any content here. We spoke about what kind of content can be added and how it can be added, the different ways to add links, and then we showed you how to add a file to your course as well. Typically, when I do, as a final note, when I include a link in the content as I did before, as I demonstrated to you, I will also have that link at the bottom of the page. So that link would also be the very last thing listed on my page, so the students can find it there. And that way, it just makes it less likely for the students to be lost. So hopefully that helps you, and you will be making beautiful content and beautiful assignment pages in no time.